All right. Hello and welcome to day 37. Today I feel like I was not very productive today. I can't even lie. I did get up and get out of the house and some other stuff, but I really didn't get that much work done today, and I'm kind of feeling it on my spirit. So I did actually listen in earlier today on the session for Retrieval Augmented Generation. That was the topic today for Startup School Gen AI. But I was kind of listening in passing, so I think I was getting quite a bit of information out of it. But at the same time, I wasn't you know completely focused on it, and I didn't actually listen to it all the way through. So I'm kind of going back and forth on whether I'm going to run the workshop back or not, just because I'm pretty familiar with the concept of it by now because they've talked about it a lot. Um, and so the main thing is that I have to pretty much, here, I'm going to show this. The main thing is that I have to pretty much jump into this lab today for I guess when I went to look at the labs, I realized they actually updated the lab, um, and they updated the labs document that they give us, and now they have a column for labs and a column for notebooks, which is very helpful. Because before this was just one column, so now they kind of distinguish between the two, which is nice. So um, they actually have a dedicated lab, which is what I was going to look for anyways. So I'm going to jump into this lab, and maybe I'll spend a little bit more time in this lab, especially depending on how much time it gives us in Cloud Skills Boost, since I'm not sure. I'm leaning towards not rewatching the video at this point. So that's kind of where I am today. So I do have a lot of other stuff to do as well, even though it's almost 8 o'clock. But I didn't really get that much done today. And tomorrow I work later in the evening. So I don't know. I might be up a little bit late tonight just because tomorrow I can afford to sleep in a little bit longer anyways, just because I'm going to have a busy evening. So I'd rather get some work done tonight and then get some rest in the morning. So that way, late afternoon through the evening, I'll pretty much have a working session. So that's my plan today. Fizzy, welcome in. Who was I talking to? I can't just depend on who's in the chat, you know? Um, so when I start off my streams, I give an exact, I just jump in immediately, covering whatever I'm going to work on today. And also it's good for my recordings as well, since I keep all my VODs on YouTube. If somebody was watching the recording afterwards, it would be super awkward for me to not talk when the video starts. So, but welcome in. I hope you're having a good day. You said you can raid. Does that mean you're streaming right now? You should focus on your stream. But yeah, it would be super weird if here's my live, if somebody came here and they wanted to watch one of the old live streams, it would be so weird if I didn't if I wasn't saying anything for the first 10 minutes until somebody actually wrote in the comments. So but yeah, so I'm gonna be jumping in here. They made my life easy this time. It's an hour and a half. I was expecting probably an hour and a half. Is it something in here that's gonna take a long time to spin up? Because last time it took 20 to 30 minutes for the vector search that we deployed. It took 20 or 30 minutes for the vector search to deploy. So if I know that that's going to be the case, that also helps me in being able to spend some time reading through the materials. All right, well, enjoy. I don't know if I'll be here too in 2 hours, but um, if you are streaming right now, I hope the rest of your stream goes well also. So I'm pretty much looking to see if, like last time, I didn't read the whole entire, I didn't read the instructions in order to see that it was going to take like 30 minutes for the service to deploy. This is very involved. I like, okay. I don't really see, not like I'm reading super in depth, but I don't really see anything crazy. Okay. I'm going to take a pass through the instructions from top to bottom, and then I'm going to start my lab. I might actually take a peek at the notebook as well, because usually whichever notebooks are here in the labs, a lot of the notebooks that they use for the labs are the same ones that's in the generative AI repo that they have. So actually, dang, okay. I wish the links in the document would actually go to another tab. So see, here's the notebook. Let me see. Okay, this is not like a teaching heavy notebook. So I wonder if this is the same one we're gonna do in the lab. All right. So enterprise search on Vertex AI and conversation brings together the power of deep information retrieval, state-of-the-art natural language processing, and the latest in large language processing to understand user intent and return the most relevant results. In this lab, you will learn how to create a search application based on websites, structured data, and unstructured data. Then configure, visualize, and analyze the search results that are returned. All right. So we'll do the following tasks. Index public website data, structured and unstructured data. Perform search on your index data. Configure the display of your search results. View analytics on your search and integrate enterprise search. Okay, I don't know. Just from what I'm gathering from this, I feel like I really would like to use this. If this is what I think it is, I would like to use something like this for metadevgirl.com, because I have so much content on there. It would be nice if I had some type of search feature that was context aware. All right, so these are the basic things that they put in here every time. If you never did Quick Labs before, in the Quick Labs setup, once you start the lab, that spins up an environment for you. If you don't finish the lab, once the timer ends, then your whole environment that is going to be deleted and you have to start over in order to complete the lab. So it's in your best interest to focus on the timer and keep the timer, top of mind, and to go through, be diligent with completing the lab. That said, they do give you a reasonable amount of time to complete all the labs. I haven't had an issue where I ran out of time, and half the time I'm even like talking on stream. So I think this will probably be a good amount of time. But I think for me, if I'm wanting to read through the notebooks that they're generating, depending on if you're actually working through a notebook during the lab, then that can be a little bit tricky. But I haven't had too many issues with it. I haven't ran out of time yet. So, but it does mean like I like that it keeps me focused. It keeps me on track. And if you use credits in order to start up a lab, so if you don't, if you have to redo a lab, you have to pay the same. You have to pay more credits basically. They gave us plenty of credits for the Gen AI, like Google Startup School. They gave us like 200 credits, but still, all these labs, most of the labs are like 5 credits, and then depending on if you are going through Google Cloud Skills Boost as well, when you go through different portions of Google Cloud Skills Boost, you can have like a course that might have like multiple labs. So you just kind of want to be aware of that. I can't wait to like update my computer setup, my desk setup, so I can't see all my screens. Okay. Um, this one doesn't have any labs, but my stuff is going slow today. It could be the million. I don't think it's my tabs because I've done worse with tabs on Windows, honestly. Let's see. I was kind of trying to look at an example. So like this one, if I go into this course, that one doesn't have a lab. Why are they calling these 8-hour courses? Okay, well, that's a side note then. Right, like if I come in here, I know this one has a bunch of labs. Let's go to this course. So here's at least one lab. That's an hour. There's another lab. That's probably another hour or hour and a half. Yeah, so this course has like 4 or 5 labs, you know. And this is the MLE learning path is a really long path. This is the path that more so prepares you for the MLE certification. So anyways, it's more so just to kind of describe or just to show, like, even though they gave us 200 credits, I could easily spend that 200 credits just trying to go through some different courses that I'm interested in that are supplemental to what we are learning. So I've been very diligent with my with my credits so far. All right, let's finish reading through this lab. So yeah, this is the basic instructions. When you start the lab, you will be asked to pay for your credits unless you have like they have like a code that you can put in. I don't know where you would get those codes from, but if you have like a code to take a lab for free, then you can do that. Otherwise, you pay in credits. Like this one's probably 5 credits. Yeah. I had more than 200 credits because I had about 80 on my account already, and then they gave us 209 in total. 9 was like they gave us 9 credits to start and like get everything set up, and then once we finished the intro lab, then we got our full 200. So you have to start the lab, keep your timer Keep your timer. Focus on. I just want to say like focus on your timer, I guess. Let me see. It's good to open this in incognito so you won't accidentally get charged on your main Google account that you have console on. They will give you a username and they will give you a password. All of that is going to be contained in this window with the timer. And then once you log in, you will be inside of Google Cloud Console. You'll have access to any of the products and services that you need. All right, so the first task is to enable the APIs. That's pretty straightforward. This time we're going to be enabling Discovery Engine API. Then create and preview a website search app. A website search app makes it easier for users to find the information they are looking for on your website. So can I literally use my own website as an example? Navigate to search in conversation. If asked to enable APIs, then do so. On the resulting page, click create a new app. Make sure search is selected, leave all settings as is, and enter the following for your app name and company name fields. Google Cloud Docs. So I guess I'm putting this in both of those fields. On the create a data store for your app page, click create new data store. I wonder how much it costs to run this service monthly. Okay, I will find out how much it costs whenever I spin it up in the lab. On the create a data store for your app page, create a new data store, then select website URLs. On the specify the websites for your data store page and sites to include. In this case, we're doing cloud.google.com because we're doing the Google Cloud Docs for the example. Okay. On the configure your data store page, in the data store name field, enter websites. Okay. On the data store page, make sure website is selected and then click create. Preview the website search app. In the panel, go to preview, enter document AI, press enter, click the view icons to switch between mobile view and desktop view. You created a search engine in the data store where you indexed a website and then perform. Wow, that's crazy. That was like a few clicks of a button and you index the whole website. Okay, so then create and preview a structured data search app. So this is the index and the search. So how is this related? Structured data can be used to make website content more visible to search engines. A structured data search app improves the discoverability of website content and provides users with a more relevant search experience. So under search and conversation, make a new app. This one's going to be called movies. In the your app name and company name fields, click continue. On select data store, create a new data store. Import data from GCS pane. So this is going to be movie data. The cloud storage bucket contains an ND JSON formatted data set of movies made available by Kaggle. Where does this go? To the data set. Okay, I couldn't see. My cords are in the way, but okay, so that goes to Kaggle. Select the JSON for structured data, radio option. Upon success, you will see a status column change to succeeded. Click the Documents tab to see if the number of documents imported. Click the Schema tab to see the auto-generated schema. Oh, right, okay. So if it's structured data, then you'll have a schema based off of that, which is nice. That's very convenient. Preview the movie search app and configure the search results. This is blowing my mind, bro. Okay. Notice that the full schema is returned. Oftentimes, you will not need to display all the items returned by the schema. To customize the values to display, searching conversation allows you to configure only the values you want to display. Oh, like only particular properties. Fields, configure fields. Okay. And that's another app. Wait, so the first app, this is like literally 3 apps in one lab. One app is a website search app. The next one is a structured data search app. And then the unstructured one is the last one. So let me see. In the search bar under preview, write Harry Potter and press enter. The output results will have been formatted according to the fields you configured. Okay, so then my question would be like, how do you deploy this? Do you just like have they have integration? Oh, okay. No, that's not what I was thinking. I wonder, do you just have like do you just embed this? Do they have like some code you can use to incorporate this into your existing site? So for integration, in this section, you will review available methods of integrating configured search capabilities into your web or server-based applications. Oh yeah, I think this might actually be what I was looking for. So for web, in the navigation, click integration. The resulting landing page is for web-based integrations. You will notice that you can copy and paste the provided HTML. Okay, yep. So embed into a web page. You can also select the authentication mechanism used to allow users to interact with the search widget. Select JWT or OAuth based or public access. If it's JWT or OAuth based, you need to configure your application to provide a JSON web token or an OAuth token provided by your backend. I'm going to save this. I'm assuming this is docs. Yeah. Wait, how am I I don't know how I got into this account. That don't even make sense to me. Refresh this. I can already tell I was in the wrong account because I have stuff. Jeez. That's annoying. Hold on, let me see. I switch. Okay, let me try to open the new tab then. Why is it doing that? That's really gonna get on my nerves. Like, really and truly. Okay, let's do this. I don't even know how that happened. That's not my default account either. It's not the account I'm signed in. Why? Okay. All right. Sure. See, I don't want to sign. Oh, God, that's annoying. Why is it doing that? Auth user equals 1. There we go. Why would it even be? Oh, that's how it opened, but I still don't understand why it opened with that user. That's not even the default user. That's not the user that's signed in. That's super weird. Okay, whatever. Let me save my docs. All right. What else? Okay, you can also restrict the widget's usage to specific domains using add allowed domains for the widget list. So that's for web. For server, click on the API tab. That's it. It just, maybe it'll show me the data that I need, because that's just pretty much the end of those instructions. All right, so the last one is an unstructured data search app. Unstructured data is data that does not have a predefined format. This type of data can be difficult to search using traditional search engines. Unstructured data search apps can be used to make this data more accessible to use and gain insights. Okay. From the navigation menu, go to search and conversation, make a new app, select a data store. This time, they're using PDF documents. And then you have to set that this is an unstructured data store. On the configure your data store page, in the data store name, name it this, click create. On the data page for your app, select unstructured data, then click create. Click activity import. We'll see the status when it's done. I can't end the lab if I'm not done. What? It says note, it may take a few minutes to index all of the unstructured data found in the PDF documents before completing the section below. You may choose to run the activity tracking step below or end the lab if desired. Why would I end the lab? Click Documents tab to see the number of documents. Because I don't think that I'll be able to verify this progress until, I don't know. Maybe I can search some of the data. Maybe I can search before all the data is uploaded. Click preview. Enter search query. All right. Am I subscribed to Cloud Tech? I think I am. Yes. All right. So let's go ahead and do this lab. Freaking hand is cold. All right, this seems pretty straightforward, and it's not walking me through it's not walking me through how do I open incognito? It's not walking me through a notebook, so I should be good to get through the material. Let me copy the password. Okay, agree. All right, so let's put this one on this side this time. All right, so now let's enable our APIs. All right, so APIs and services, enabled APIs, enable. And this one I'm looking for is Discovery Engine. Okay. I'm about to look at the pricing on this. Dang it, I want to see the pricing on it. Let me go back. Oh no. After free $0 per gigabyte per month and $5. So for $0, is it like for 0 to 10 gigabytes is free? Because I really would like to be able to use this. Anyways, all right. Let's make this the first app. The first app is Search and Conversation. I hate that the AI stuff is like at the bottom of the list, which is not a big deal in your regular console, but in the one that they spin up in labs, you just have the defaults. You can't like have anything pinned already. So there's the stuff right here. So we're doing Search and Conversation. Activate this. Okay. Is that what brings that back? Yeah, okay. Oh, I guess I am already under the create an app, and I want this one to be a search. And it says leave settings as is. Create the app name and the company name fields. Make sure enter the following for your app name and company name field. So both of these. So you get advanced LLM features, and you get enterprise edition features. Extractive answers. Answers that are extracted verbatim from your documents. Image search, where you can use an image as a query. Website search. And then search summarization and search with follow-ups. Everything else is default. And then now we create a data store. From a website URL. So automatically crawl website content. This is crazy. Wow. I mean, I'm enjoying this, but dang, they make it so easy. So this is our indexing site. On the configure your data store page, in the data store name field. Oh, this is not config. Hold on. That's all I need. So let's continue. Just call it website. On the data page, make sure website is selected and then click create. So go here and create. And just like that, we have an app. All right, so preview the website search app. So over here, wait, it says go to preview. Oh, enter document AI. What happened? My app did not work. Oh, I did everything they told me to do. Let me see. Where's the one where it can tell me how much of my data has been? I guess that's not on the indexing. It didn't work. Send feedback. Okay, thank you. I would rather show my screenshot. Let me see. No, I want to do it this way. I'd rather show the split screenshot since I'm in the lab. Oh, that's the only way I can do it. Okay, that's fine, I guess. Yes, you can email me. I want you to work. There we go. Yeah, it must took a while for it to crawl. But if it's gonna take that long to crawl the site, y'all shouldn't give us that. Y'all shouldn't give us the whole damn subdomain. Okay. And then we can see mobile view. Alright, so now let's do the unstructured data search app. Let me see what analytics show. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So now we go back to search and conversation, and we're going to create another new app. This one is search also. I want to try that recommendation engine. Movies. Oops, movies. Then make a data store. This one's coming from cloud storage. Import from GCS pane. Is GS for Google storage? Thank you. JSON for structured data preview. Okay. I'll call this Richard David. Yeah. Ooh, one data store is currently unavailable for this app. Ouch. Click activity. I'll click here. Click create. Wait, why does it say that? This data store is already used by another app. Oh, okay. So when I did the indexing for the website, I can't like use that same data store for a different app. So that's interesting. You would think you could just reuse those, but okay. So we're gonna create, and then I should be able to watch the activity from here. Hold on. These are the documents. I'm kind of thrown off by these titles, but okay. But here's the schema. In the activity, 3,000 succeeded. Does it say how many I should expect? Oh, it's still in progress, so I guess that's all I need to know. Upon success, you will see the status column change to succeeded. All right. They like really throwing me off with these titles. What kind of... Okay, I see some semi-normal ones. $11,000. How many records? They didn't even say. All right, so once I do that, I should be able to... I already looked at the schema. Preview. Oh, okay, so once the data is done, I should be able to preview. Schema. Activity. Sheesh. How much time do I have left? A whole hour and 10 minutes. I only have one more app to build. Oh, there's 45,000. Got it. I feel like they could have definitely gave like a smaller data set just for the lab. It's not like I can actually use this afterwards. I still have to, it's still going to get deleted. So here's the real question. If that's the case, can I leave this and work on my other app while that's still uploading? Let's try. Living Wild and Crazy. Let me see. That's the movies one, right? Yeah. So let's make another new app. It's also going to be a search. This one's going to be PDFs though. Alphabet Investor PDFs. Data store is also going to be cloud storage, and this one should be unstructured. Data store is cloud samples data gen app builder search alphabet investor p. Okay. I didn't know this was a thing. Let's just gonna pop that somewhere. Okay. Make sure to select unstructured and continue. Alright, so make my data store. And then I can go here, create, and then here's processing. It doesn't tell me how many documents there are. Refresh. It may take a few minutes to index all of the data in the PDF documents. Okay, well, so let's see. If I go back to my apps, go to the movies, data, 45,000. It's still importing. It's close though. It's at 43 now. So I think that was a good use. That was a good use of time. Just go get the other one started. Now this one, I did everything I was supposed to do, right? I'm assuming if the folder wasn't a valid one, then it would have gave me an error, because when I was putting in the information, it was going back and forth between like green and red confirmation on the folder directory. I made it unstructured, as you can see here. On the data page, select unstructured and click create. It does say import in progress, so that's something. All right, Yeah, I'm glad I started. I'm glad I got that one started then. Um, so what I'm wondering is that one. Yeah, see, that one's gonna fail until the data is imported, and this one's probably gonna fail too. So why would they recommend to do this validation? Oh, this one validates prematurely, huh? Cause it ain't nothing uploaded on here. Yeah, they let you get away with they let you get away with validating the unstructured app, probably because it takes so long. But the other apps, they don't work that way. Like for movies, our validation step doesn't work for that. The import is done now. Wait, let's go back. Okay. Well, it says import completed, but oh, okay. Even though for some reason the text says succeeded. So we saw the documents, we saw the schema. This was already determined for us. Let's preview. I am not supposed to search for Google. I'm mixing these up. Oh my god. That's the wrong one. Wait, what? How would I search for Google? Okay, I guess I'm not making that up. Preview the movie search app. Okay. Google. Surprisingly, there are 5 results that shows up from searching for Google. Okay. The full schema is returned. We don't need all this information. So go to configuration. Open the configure fields. Title, thumbnail, homepage, tagline, and release date. Save and publish. Oh, that's why I didn't pass this part, probably, because that's the only only thing that verified, right? Yeah. That's why it didn't work. Gotcha. Okay. And then let's go back to the preview. And now it looks like this. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That's funny. I have literally seen so many people try to build an app like this, like more like for boot camps and stuff. And I can guarantee you it was not this easy. Okay, so then if I wanted to do the integration, if I say public access, add allowed domains for widget. Wait, so if it was JWT or OAuth based, hold on, because I can't see everything. If it was JWT or OAuth based, generate a token and pass it to the widget. Otherwise, if it's public, I shouldn't need that part. And then API, leave without saving. As an alternative to creating a widget to add to an HTML page, you can make API calls and integrate those into your server or applications. The following steps assume that you have ingested data using the data page or APIs. Provide a search query. Run the example request in Cloud Shell. Get search results for an app with website data. So like if I want to do Node, make a search service client. The endpoint is determined by this location variable. Create the clients. The full resource name of the search engine serving configuration. Page size, query, and serving config. Oh. Oh, this name, okay. Interesting. Okay, so they do give you all the information you need. Now let's go back to our last app because I'm hoping that the data is imported by now. That's this one. Well, at least it tells me how many documents there are now. Some have been imported. And the import is complete. Okay, perfect. So now we can preview this one. Say Google revenue in 2008. Ooh, smart generation, AI generation. Google reported revenues of 5.7 billion for the quarter ended. Wait. Why are they in their example, the AI responded with the end of the third quarter. I wonder if that's just a due to the model being a little bit more refined. So it basically literally does the same type of thing that Google search does, because now you have like AI responses from Google, but then it responds with actual documents. The Q3, Q4, Q1 for 08 and some other stuff here. Okay, that's good though. Fizzy, thanks for the raid. I'm not sure. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be hanging, but I appreciate it. I don't have a raid message. That's cool. I used to have a raid message, but I don't have one right now for some reason. I'm just finishing up this lab. So in the matter of 40 minutes, I built like 3 different search apps through this lab. So it's pretty cool. One, let me see, let me go back. The first is a search app where you index, in this one I indexed a website. The website that this one indexes is cloud.google.com, everything under cloud.google.com. So it automatically crawls the website, indexes all the data, and then makes a nice little search for you. Just like documents. Yeah. And that's a search feature. So this is like the preview of how it will look. And then if you want to integrate it into your existing site, you can either do like public access or you can do token-based access. They give you the code that you need to integrate into like an HTML page, or you can actually go the API route if you want to incorporate this on your back end as well. So they give you like all the code you need, but like literally to get this set up, it's like a few button clicks. And then all the rest of the apps are pretty similar too. So this one crawls the website, gets all the data from the website, and then basically allows you to have Google search specific to a website. But it is empowered by LLMs. And then you have this is a movie app. It pulls in like 45,000 movies or something. And I was able to configure which data is included in the response. It automatically, this was structured data, it automatically created a schema for this when it indexed the data. And then the last one is unstructured data. So this one is PDFs. So it's basically a whole bunch of PDF documents that are the main data store. And then for this app, It's still the same thing. It's another search app, but it's gonna search PDFs instead. Google revenue in 2008. Talking about what you want to do with programming. None of this is coded. This is all configured in Google Cloud. And also, Fizzy, I've been doing this for like almost 10 years. So you shouldn't compare your the amount of time it takes you to digest a certain information to how long it takes me to digest it. You really shouldn't compare yourself to anybody in general, but definitely don't compare yourself to people that have been doing this for a long time. We've all been there. Yeah, it's good motivation, but it's not good to compare. I promise you. You will overwhelm yourself. It's like motivation, right? So like if you watch somebody work out, it's good to see somebody that's like a person, like a professional. It's good to see a professional like weightlifter do what they do. But then when you start feeling like you have to do what they do, yeah, you gonna pull something. That's all. Plus, yeah, this isn't coded. This is using the cloud platform. This is using the tools that Google has. And it's very, very fancy how I was able to do all this in like 40 minutes. It's mostly configuration. But even with clouds, like if you want to learn about AWS or Google Cloud or Azure, or I don't know if there's many other like big cloud platforms, but those are like the main ones. It's so much stuff in the cloud. Like this whole menu is all the different sections of services that are available. So even without, like, if I didn't have the lab to like guide me and say, hey, here's where to look to make this specific type of app, I would be clicking all around all over the place or trying to read the documents to figure out, where to go for the particular type of app I'm looking for. So that's why training is always good. So I have to say, I think this was a really good lab. I did all my material for this lab. So I'm going to end this one. I got my 100, yeah. Sure. What was I going to say? Blocked. Okay, that didn't go back to where I thought it was gonna go. Let me see. I wanted to see where that lab. It's an intro lab, but what does it belong to a path? Hold on, let me see. Activities. This is the lab I did. What happens if I do this? It just goes back there. Okay. And I have been kicked out because my student environment was deleted. So we'll get rid of this window. Integrate search and applications, because I've been trying to figure out like I'm pretty sure. Wait, did we do the lab for this? I think we did the lab for this one. Vector search. I think we did this one, right? I can't tell from the page. would be nice if I could tell from the page. Pretty sure I did this one though. I did the course, right? Yeah, okay, it's complete. But this, yep. There's the lab right there. Okay, so I did that one. I was just really trying to see if that other search that I did, the other search lab, if it's tied to a course at all. Google Chat, Calendar, Workspace, Drive. This lab is part of a series designed to provide hands-on experience with generative AI on Google Cloud. Where is that series? Is that series the material that I'm going through? For I'm confused. Okay, so if we go to paths, it says it's generative AI, right? I know for sure it's not in the intro. So I would assume that means it's not going to be in here, because that stuff I know the material that's in there. So maybe it's in here. This is Vertex Quest is a collection of labs on how to use generative AI on Google Cloud. It's not going to be prompt design. It's not going to be model garden. I don't think it's going to be generative AI studio. I think that's a specific area that I haven't been in yet. All right, let me see those labs. See, this is like one of my current struggles, trying to tie specific labs into specific courses or learning plans. It should be a little bit easier to do that. I did this one already, didn't I? Getting started with generative AI. Maybe not. No, I think I did do this one. What's it called? Generative AI with Vertex AI. Oh, you know what? Open the generative AI folder, navigate to the getting started, click on intro palm, follow the steps. Can I save this or like start it or something? Damn. Okay. I need to. This is what I would have wanted to find the other day, because this one covers code completion, code generation. It damn near covers like everything. It also covers embedding. It's one big notebook. Okay, well, all right. It's all good. I'm not about to do another one right now, but that's good to know. So what is going to be happening on Thursday? Here we go. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Is that, yeah, enterprise chat apps? Okay, good. That's something I'm looking forward to. But wait, okay. I just realized I was supposed to be doing retrieval augmented generation. I guess technically those do count, but that is that was not the way I was anticipating doing that. So, all right. Uh I feel like I got Jedi mind tricked by that, but it's all good. I'll come back to I'm going to go through this is the notebook. The RAG notebook. So, I'll probably end up running this in Colab or in Vertex in the workbench. Like technically those are RAG examples, but it's so far abstracted away that it's kind of like that's not exactly what I would. That doesn't further my knowledge, if that makes sense. Robotech, welcome. How are you? Yeah, Vertex AI search technically does use RAG, or it is a form of RAG, but it's basically integrating your data into a Google tool. So yeah, everything's abstracted away from you. But I mean, it's nice though. Like if if all I care about is like the business use case, that's perfect. Um, dang, what was I about to look? Oh, you know what? This is kind of an aside, but I have to keep an eye on when the Women Tech Makers Ambassador application opens. Oh, they're gonna open in April. Okay, I was gonna say it's gonna come up soon. Keep that on my radar. I'm alive. Oh, do you think it'll be hard to switch from Java to JavaScript? Java and JavaScript are rather different. It's not. I wouldn't say it's hard, but you shouldn't make assumptions about JavaScript based on Java. Like certain core things about programming is always the same. Like you have loops and functions and all that kind of stuff, but Java is way more structured than JavaScript. So, yeah. It's easy to pick up JavaScript. It's not the thing that people usually get tripped up on is they make assumptions about JavaScript based on what they know about Java. Um, and instead of learning JavaScript for the language that it is, it's an independent language, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I love JavaScript. JavaScript is my main, that's my main language, but I did a lot of Java in my past, so. But if you have to do Java and JavaScript, I wouldn't be trying to throw too many other languages on the list because those are two pretty different ones to try to pin down and get good at. I know when it comes to schooling, a lot of times you can't really determine which languages you learn or don't learn. But this is also why I am going to get a PhD so I can actually work with higher education and how we teach programming, because I have a lot of thoughts about that, but we're not going to go there today. I don't feel like getting on the soapbox. Preacher, I'm good. How are you? Sadly, I didn't have a lot of people for the stream. Yeah, it comes with time. And also, I mean, Fizzy, you literally cannot control who shows up to the stream and who doesn't. It's always, you'll have good days as far as like numbers. You'll have quote unquote like quieter days, but you should find some like focus with streaming that doesn't have to do with numbers, because it will be very, very like discouraging. And I'm saying that from personal experience. Like now, I've been streaming literally since like 2018. And I've been here, I've been on hiatuses, did a lot of stuff, but realistically, like, yeah, you can't control what other people are going to do. So, you know, having your motivation be set on whatever your goals are versus the turnout. If you want to be a content creator, thinking about how you're providing value to the people that are watching, because ultimately, if you do want to build an audience, then you need to be providing some type of value. You know what I mean? Like, people won't automatically show up, but you can't put your quote unquote personal value into the numbers. And then a way that I think about it now, like, if it's one person here, even if it's nobody here, I mean, I've streamed to 0 people like a lot. That's just normal. But even if it's one person here, that's, you know, it's an actual human being. So thinking about it that way versus thinking about, like, you know, I feel like on social media we always trying to get like tens of thousands of people, and forgetting that you're making a one-to-one connection with anybody who comes in the stream, whether they're lurking or, you know, whether they're chatting and stuff like that. So it's definitely ways that you can encourage people to participate, but again, you don't have control over what people click on or what they do. So yeah, it'd be like that. Different times of the day, different days of the week, who else is also streaming, and whether whatever they're you know, especially in the software development category. For us, software development is like people can be doing all different types of stuff. So somebody just might not be interested in what I'm doing or what I'm learning, or they might not vibe with what's going on. That's okay too. I'm not sure what a good language is for desktop and mobile app development. Okay, Fizzy, you trying to do a lot. So, desktop and mobile, and you said that you was doing full stack. The internet gives so many different answers. Yeah, I think you're getting a lot of answers because you're trying to do a lot of stuff. Like, for example, if you like, this is a GUI pie is like a really simple, where is it? Not literally pie. Oh my god. GUI pie is like a really, that's not the site I wanted though. Here. I know they got a, dang it, hold on. GUI library. Here it is. This library is really straightforward with Python for making GUIs, like desktop apps. It's a good starter to like learn the principles and stuff and get like a desktop app going. But yeah. Desktop apps really depends on what you're trying to do. Got to write a got to write a paper. Oh, you have to write a paper, or you already wrote the paper, preacher? Number watching isn't good at the beginning. Find a flow that's realistic and attainable for you. Numbers aren't everything. You stream for you. Fun fact, I used to lurk more than talk in this stream. I got the most views during the middle of the day. Software development, the content should be more on you, empowering, improving, and gaining the skills and confidence. How you add another language to his list? I didn't add Python to his list. Python is already on his list. I don't think I made that up. I'm pretty sure. Fizzy, did you say that you have to learn Python for school? I thought you said that. Haven't really gotten the hang of any of this. I didn't know that. I wanted to do cross-platform for both. Yeah. Okay. So Fizzy, I'm gonna give you a reality check, cause this is how I started out. Um, it's hard to learn the fundamentals when you're trying to learn everything. You can't learn everything at once. Um, and that sucks because that's that's not how we like to that's not how we like it, like me personally. When I first got started, I wanted to do everything, but it's counterproductive. Now it's a lot of concepts that transfers and translates depending on where you're trying to go with it. So realistically, as a software engineer, you would not be a mobile dev and a web dev and a desktop dev. Even if you go multi-platform, there's a lot of trade-offs in going multi-platform, and there's no perfect solution. So the hard question you have to ask yourself is, where do you want to start and where are you happy to be focused on for now? And you can kind of, you can, over time, you can incorporate things in, but everything can't happen all at once. I'm gonna be real with you, because you will frustrate yourself and you will stagnate your growth if you are jumping. It's basically like, imagine if you try to read 5 books at the same time and you just keep jumping from book to book to book to book to book. It's not going to make a cohesive story in your brain, you know what I mean? So that's unsolicited advice, but I want to, that's kind of, I went through that. So find a single area. Yep. Because the thing about it is, even that one area, and this is something I've been trying to talk more about, even that one area that might not seem like it's as much, like for example, if you say you want to be a full stack developer, a full stack software engineer, that's a lot of shit to know. And it doesn't seem as deep as it really is until you really start to spend more time. So when you do a lot of like beginner or intro projects, you kind of do the same things over and over again. But once you start to sit with a project for a longer period of time, then you're going to learn more advanced concepts, which realistically is what you need to, advance in your career. Okay, here's the example I would give. When I was little, me and my sister, we never went swimming. The most experience we had with water was like the bathtub. And my aunt, I guess you could say it was actually her ex at the time, but we used to go and visit him because his daughter was the same age as me, and they lived like in this house that was on a lake. So again, me and my sister, we'd never been swimming before. We don't really have the concept of like being in a body of water besides a tub. So one day we're going out on the lake, and we just took off running. Like, we had our life jackets on and stuff, but like literally you can just imagine like 2 small kids, like elementary school kids. We're like really little, and we just took off running to the lake. Why? Because we only ever been we only ever been on the shore of the lake. So as far as we know, as far as we can imagine, because we kids, the lake water is the highest it goes is to our chest, like 3 feet, 4 feet. That's all we could imagine. So even though we looking at this whole entire lake, in our minds, the whole lake is like 4 feet deep. We're kids, so like kids just think stuff that don't make sense. So we took off running, and you can imagine I literally almost drowned. Yes, because you like running into the lake, and then you on the shore, and then next thing you know, like the whole bottom of the lake just drops out from underneath you, and now you like so now we basically, he had to rescue us. Yes. Almost drowned in a lake. Yes. But I say that to say that's kind of how um that's how I think about how it is to get into software. When you pick a specific field or a specific discipline you want to start in, it does seem like, it can seem like surface level, because a lot of the stuff that you're doing is surface level in the beginning. But if you actually take the time to like go all in one area, then that's when you can actually go deeper. And sometimes, unfortunately, you will have the floor drop out from underneath you. That's happened to me in the past in different projects, thinking I knew all there was to know when I was like maybe only a year in to being a software engineer, or maybe only 2 years in. So anyways, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I think you will be fulfilled in the depth of knowledge that you can acquire if you just kind of lean into one area. And I know it can be difficult to pick one area in the beginning. But if you think about what's the job that you would want to have, and kind of lean towards that. So if you want to do mobile, do mobile. Even with mobile, you technically should pick, you should pick iOS or Android. But yeah, cross-platform stuff is a option. But realistically, if you work for a company that really has to have like apps in production, most times they're going to have a mobile teams that are Android and mobile teams that are iOS, versus trying to do cross-platform. So even picking one or the other of those, or if you want to do web dev, it's okay to be a front end or a back end. You don't have to be full stack. Full stack is definitely biting off a lot, but you can definitely do full stack as well. And then for desktop applications, you should be able to take some of depending on which platform you select, you should be able to take some of those tools and find like a framework or something to build desktop apps. Like I've done desktop apps in Java, I've done them in Python, and I'll probably be revisiting that because I kind of have an idea for something I want to build. But that's my long spiel. Oh man. And then if you're in school, you have to go through like school material, then they kind of dictate what languages you learn. So just lean towards that. Robotech says it happened to me with robotics. I have to update my career vision board or Notion and do some hard thinking. I almost drowned too. Yeah, you don't need to when it comes to software, like you don't want to be that person. And that is what will happen if you don't focus it. Like I'm not saying, because I'm like, I don't want to be prescriptive, you know what I mean? I'm just being realistic in the beginning. And because I also get a lot of questions when I have people that do like coding boot camps and stuff. I get a lot of questions where people are like, should I learn another language? And it's like, but you don't know your first language. Like realistically, there's a lot of things that you want to learn before you move to another language, because you're still going to have to learn them regardless. Like if you want to be in software and you want to be in web dev and you want to be full stack or back end and you never did anything with token authentication before, like Yeah, it's a lot of other things that you could do. Um, so like I was working on this. I don't even think I put this up yet. It's one post that I'm gonna put up. It's inspired by I did a podcast episode that was like about learning multiple languages. Then I'm gonna make this though. 10 things to do instead of learning another programming language. These are just like 10 random things I could come up with. Um, Exploring documentation, learning new features that you never used in a language, writing about a technical challenge you had, completing and deploying a polished project, because a lot of people's projects are not actually there's no polish to them. It's like, oh, I got the basics working and now move on to the next thing. But when you go and work full time, you don't do that. When you go and work full time, you have to continue to evolve that project. You have, you know, there's different things you experience over time that you don't get in the very beginning phases. Like, for example, if you when you first put an app out, if you work for a company and you put like web app, mobile app, doesn't matter. You put your application out to the public. In the beginning, you won't have that much traffic. And then eventually, if all goes well, you might have millions of people using your app, or you might be processing millions and billions of like signals or data flow or whatever the case may be. And that's a different problem to solve than just getting it up and running. So there's a lot that you can really get out of a project when you try to go deeper on it instead of having multiple projects. Getting into open source is always a thing. Learning to use a library, frameworks, data structures and algorithms. Don't skip that one. Reading your language spec and getting comfortable with that. Design patterns and testing. These are literally just random, but this is like just to think about, like, oh, you know what? It's way more to just like, I can create variables and write functions in my language. But I get that question a lot too. Like, oh, should I learn a new language? Or I'm gonna quote unquote learn a new language so I can like make myself more marketable. And it's like, you're not making yourself marketable by knowing how to do hello world in 25 languages. Because if I put you on a project, you don't know the language. That's like being like, oh yeah, I speak Japanese and all I can say is konnichiwa. Like, then I'm gonna go to Japan and I'm gonna be looking stupid. Like, I cannot communicate. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to be, I'm not trying to be rude or nothing, but I'm just trying to be realistic. Revisit Python since it was the first language. I'm like the kid at Dollar General wanting to touch everything. But I'm saying, that's okay. And I know, because that's me. And I went through that. And I do feel like it stagnates your growth in the beginning if you can't focus in. So when I first got started in programming, I just did the very first things that I did was all front end. Like, this was really before we used like Angular. This was before React. We was just using jQuery to do like DOM manipulation and stuff like that. Basically like interactions in the browser. That's all we really did with JavaScript at the time. So when I first got started, I just did front end stuff. When I decided that I wanted to become a full stack developer, realistically, there was more I could have learned about JavaScript as a language. There was more I could have learned about CSS, and like there was more advanced things I could have did with CSS, but I wasn't really motivated by those. So but I had spent a good amount of time in being able to build projects, and I was freelancing and stuff like that. So then that's what made me go and learn a back-end language. And I learned Java at the time because JavaScript on the back end really wasn't a thing back in 2015, 16. So I learned Java, but that was a lot more responsibility for me, because now I have to know JavaScript and I have to know Java, and I have to know them to a certain level. You know what I mean? So, and this is also why I'm just now really taking a deep dive into machine learning, even though I've been interested in machine learning since 2017. I think I took my first machine learning class. But at the time, I also was in my first like full-time software engineering role. That was my first full stack role after I took my boot camp. So even though I was very interested and really was like fascinated by getting into machine learning, I had to kind of like narrow the scope in what I was trying to focus on, because I couldn't really develop the skills that I needed to develop in my day-to-day. And also like machine learning is literally its own thing, as far as like what you need to learn and how much you want to be focused on it. So that was something, that was hard for me at the time, but I'm glad that I did that, because now I feel I'm way more confident in my engineering skills, because I have practical experience and I've been doing it for years now. So this is something new to me, but at the same time, all those different fundamentals I built up over the years makes it so much easier to get into it, versus at the time it was a lot to try to deal with. And that doesn't even count the fact that context switching is mentally exhausting. If the say like your personal projects and the tech you're trying to learn on the side is very, very different from the tech that you do day to day, it can be mentally exhausting. Like, you have to give your brain a break. And I went through that too, where I was like doing Java and Kotlin microservices during the day. I was doing IoT like work during the day, but then at night I was trying to learn Python and do JavaScript, and it was just, my brain was literally exhausted, and I burned myself out doing that. I'm literally just really coming back from that level of burnout that I had. That was around like 2019, 2020. Oh, you missed the whole thing? That sucks. See, y'all should be watching on YouTube, or you can rewind. I agree with this list, but for most people, but I guess since I have a different lane, I'm all about learning environments and concepts that help my gig, even if it is one line, one function, one library. This is domain expertise versus learning, so I agree. 3, 5, and 7. What I missed? Oh, this list. Yeah. I think I kind of get what you were saying, Preacher. It's the difference between the domain expertise versus learning. It's a big difference. When it's supplemental versus you still trying to establish your fundamentals. Because like if I tell you like, oh, okay, cool, you wanna build a desktop app, but if you coming from web development, you want to do like a desktop app, but there's certain things you could learn about, like event listeners and things. There's certain concepts that you can learn from web development that translates over to desktop apps. But if you never even spent the time to learn about event listeners on the web, you still got to learn that when you get to a desktop app. You still got to learn that when you get to a mobile app. How to make your buttons work and all that kind of stuff. It's the same concepts. So yeah, it's like, especially in the world we live in now, we be trying to speed run everything, and it's only stuff. You get what you're gonna get out of it, what you put into it, basically. It's like that microwave like mug cake versus like a real actual cake that you baked, put time into, let it go into the oven. It ain't gonna take 3 minutes, but it's gonna taste way better. 3, 5, and 7. Yes. I'm gonna get on my content, y'all, because this post been sitting here for like 4 months in draft. I just saw that when I looked at it. This is all draft stuff right here. Explaining MVC, explaining CRUD, what is a RESTful service, the Get cheat sheet, 10 things to do instead of learning another programming language, how to successfully complete your bootcamp projects, how to set up a fork with GitHub contribution tracking, all kinds of stuff. And this is an AI post that was made summarizing one of my podcasts, and I liked how it compared software to music, because in the podcast I was talking about how my background was in music before I got into software. But yeah, so I got way too much stuff in draft. That's not good. Is it better to learn design principles or design patterns? Yes. Design patterns, I mean, both of those are things that you would want to learn. Oh, I missed this, but Ron, thank you for the follow. I don't even know if you're still hanging around. So what's solid? Single responsibility, open, closed. Oh gosh. This is a design principle. I would say, I'm just gonna say yes. I wouldn't say it's either or, but it just depends. Like, design patterns is more fundamental, if I'm being honest, because just if I'm comparing it to this design principle in particular, because a design pattern is it's going to determine like exactly how you structure the code depending on what your use case is. And design principles, you can learn design principles, but depends on the culture of the company you work for, what they subscribe to or don't subscribe to. But this kind of probably still lends itself towards a specific pattern, right? Because they're showing me an example of how to implement this in code. But with a pattern, like if you say like if you say you want something to be like a builder pattern, there's certain principles that underlies the different patterns, but a builder pattern is going to tell you more so this is how your software should be structured. Like, you should be able to have an object and call a method on a method on a method. Like, there's a actual implementation that's kind of expected. It's the same thing with like REST. A lot of times people are like, oh, I built an API and it's RESTful, and it's like, no, it's not, because REST is not just having an API. REST is exactly how you structure the endpoints. It's how you reference the different resources that you have available. It's certain, if you say that your API is RESTful, and I know you have blogs, and I know you have, whatever your resources are, I should be able to predict how the URLs work. I should be able to predict which endpoints I can hit with specific with specific HTTP methods in order to get the data back that I need. So a lot of times, like, people confuse those two. They're like, oh, I built a CRUD app or something like that, or I built an API and it's RESTful. And it's like, no, you have actual rules that you need to follow for something to be RESTful. So I don't even know if that was like a real answer to the question, but design patterns are fundamental. And I will say that in my experience, if you are not, I'm not saying you should have every design pattern memorized or something like that, but if you're not familiar with common design patterns, Um, thing I experienced was I didn't realize when they were being implemented into the software, and I didn't know what I was looking at. So I'm sitting here trying to figure out like, oh, how did y'all come up with this complicated way to like build this service out? And really they didn't come up with it. It's like it was a predetermined design pattern. And also I was a little bit, it's kind of like what I was saying with like if you learn a language but you only know how to say hello, you're not going to be able to communicate as well with other people. So when I didn't know, when I wasn't familiar with the design patterns that were being used, like enough to even recognize them when I saw them, then when I was adding to the code, some people was probably assuming that I was going to write my code in a certain style because the design pattern that they were using was like very evident. But again, because I wasn't as familiar with that, I'm just writing code however I think it's supposed to be written versus realizing that there was an established like protocol that we were using. So I do recommend it. Like I said, you don't have to know like everything, but this book, O'Reilly, the O'Reilly design patterns book is really good. No, head first design patterns. I think they got a head first design patterns. Um see head first design patterns. I don't know if I have mine here with me, but I have this book. This book is, I do recommend this one. But the real answer is like both. you you learn both. Um but you definitely pay more attention to what kind of principles your company prefers. So your best advice is focus on one programming language, practice it, do projects, and even try out different areas of tech. Yeah, do as much as you can with that one language, because you're going to learn things that you're going to learn more about software when you can stick to one language at a time and then go deeper on it. But that's why, but I think you should just pick a field that you, whatever you want your job to be in, that's really what you kind of want to lean towards. You can always do side projects and stuff, but it takes a lot to, it's even harder to get up to speed on different types of technology when you use it for the first time, when you're earlier in your career. When you have experience, like for me now, it's way simpler for me to see a new framework, a new library, a new this, a new that, and I don't have to have done it before, but I have a core solid foundation, so I can understand what I'm looking at a lot of times, or I can digest what I'm looking at. If you know your language and how your language works, you could digest information. You know what I mean? I can look at this and see like, okay, you got classes here, you got an animal. I can see like the object oriented nature of this code because I'm very familiar with JavaScript. I'm very comfortable with JavaScript, and I've done a lot of things in JavaScript. I also am comfortable with object oriented programming. And even if I've seen something very similar to this, probably in another language, when I see that there's a class and a constructor and member methods and things like that, inheritance and things like that, it's easier for me to pick that out and digest that, even if I never used that language before. But in the beginning, when I would see something like this, it would be like, oh, if I saw it in another language, I might not recognize it if I wasn't already familiar with object-oriented programming in general. So, and then what, to satisfy that like itch that you might have, I like those. That's why I was like, the free code camp YouTube is so good, because on the free code camp YouTube, you will find like, oh, this is a class and it's only free code camp. You find the class and it's like, oh, this is a 3 hour workshop or whatever, and it's going to walk me through how to build this specific app with these particular, right here, beginner web dev project with TypeScript, Next.js. All the buzzwords are included in here. I see React, Tailwind, all the things. but it's 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and they're going to walk you through the process. So, something like that, it's like, okay, cool. You're not going too far off on a tangent. If you get like halfway in and you like WTF, then that's a reality check for you versus being like, oh, now I'm about to like embark on 2 months of trying to learn like a completely new technology. You start going down, it's easy to go down rabbit holes. So I like little stuff like this that can be like, oh, I could just satisfy my itch to like do something in Rust, even though I'm not about to sit here and fucking learn Rust. Like, I'm just curious, but I'm not trying to go down that rabbit hole. You might do that for tomorrow's stream. Exactly, because supplemental is the real key of the game once you get domain fundamentals done. Yeah, and pick your field. It's okay, but when you in the beginning, it's good. It's all good. Like, you trying to figure it out. If you're trying to figure it out, if you have a core. Okay, so we talked about the 4Cs, y'all. Let's go back to the 4Cs real quick. So it's a reason why I started with curriculum. When you have a structured curriculum, you need to follow that through. If you decide, I put bootcamp, online course, and certification here because that's very common. But if you decided to go to school and get a degree, you need to follow your curriculum. And they're going to teach you enough different items that you don't need to be trying to learn extra languages in addition to all the 5-6 languages they probably gonna try to expose you to. Instead, especially for like something that's university based, that's what I'm saying. It's better to go deeper in what they're already teaching you. So a lot of times if you go to university, if you go to even community college or whatever, if you go to some type of formal like college or university, then they're going to teach you probably like Java, Python, maybe C#. If you take any front end classes, you're going to have to learn JavaScript. That's a given. But for the most part, they usually teach you Python or Java. When I was coming up, they wasn't even teaching that. They was teaching us like C and C++. So sticking to the curriculum, being dedicated to the curriculum and seeing it all the way through, it would definitely benefit you. There can be gaps in what they teach you in the curriculum. Like, for example, if they're not teaching you Git and GitHub, that's something extra that I would learn, not another programming language. I would stick to the languages that they're teaching me and then make sure, you have the other fundamentals you need as far as like being a productive software engineer. So like Git and GitHub is definitely something you should learn to use if that's not a part of your curriculum. But otherwise, you want to stick to the curriculum and see it all the way through. Then your portfolio. You're trying to showcase your ability and your accomplishments. So 25 Hello World apps does not stand out to me in the same way as if you have one app but you learned how to do token authentication in your app. You learned how to do your database management, because I'm speaking full stack right now, but like you learn how to do your database management. Your design of your app actually looks really good. Your code is clean and structured. You have a test suite and your code is like fully tested. Like, I would much rather see a very well formed project than see a bunch of half-ass projects, because you didn't learn anything new. I promise you, if you have like 25 projects, you did the same thing over and over again for every project, because that's just kind of how it is. So that's where your portfolio comes in. Then your credibility is demonstrating your expertise. So again, instead of going off and trying to learn like another extra thing, how do I even know what you've been learning or what you've been focusing on? That's where Fizzy, you already live streaming, so that's where you can get into live streaming. But in the live stream, that's a way for people to see, oh, hey, how do you think through problems? What is it really like when you're working on your project, or if you're teaching something that you learned? I can see that you can explain that concept and things like that. So you got blogging and live streaming, teaching. It's something else I didn't put on here that I probably should have put on here. Oh, internships. Of course, if you get an internship or something like that, that's credibility too. And then your community is important too. Yes. So how do we help with the community? We give you advice. Like for me, I was grateful because in the beginning, I didn't go a traditional path, but I always had instructors. I always had mentors. I always had other folks in the community that was helping me, like giving me the same type of advice. That I could be like, oh, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. And they'll be like, why don't you do this instead? Or, yeah, that's a good idea. They also were the same people that encouraged me through a lot of different times where I didn't necessarily feel like I was doing as well as I probably was. So I got a lot of encouragement. And, you just meet people and stuff like that. So especially if you don't go through like when you are, even if you're in college, you still have to go out of your way to meet people. So when I was in college, I was a part of different student organizations, especially orgs that was related to, my major. Need to write these down. This goes. Yeah, internship. Okay, I can get off my soapbox. Ad break ends in 6 seconds. Twitch. Okay, well, hopefully y'all are back in the ad. But yes, internships are good. That I don't know why I didn't include that one under here. The only reason I probably didn't put the internship under here is because naturally an internship requires somebody to hire you, and I put these type of sources that you have more control over. So even if it's hard to get a job, and the job market is, very competitive, and, we dealing with what we dealing with in the tech field right now, these are things that nobody really could necessarily stop you from doing. There's usually a plethora of volunteer opportunities. If teaching is something that is like, that's something that you're good at, then definitely teaching. Open source projects, that's what this is, OSS. So open source software is always a good opportunity, because most of the time, even though it can be a steep learning curve to get into an open source project, usually it's like, if you want to submit a pull request, nobody can stop you from submitting a pull request. They might not accept a pull request, but they can't actually stop you from cloning and making your own contribution and like actually submitting the PR. And these are more so just content. Because back in my day, because I'm so old in this tech world now, but when I was coming up, originally it was all about like blogging, and I did not blog like how I wanted to and how I should have. And I regret that. So that's why, even though I don't got all the blogs up like how I would like to, I'm very proud of myself for getting like my content in like a solid space and continuing to work on that. There's so much good stuff on the freaking channel, bro. Oh my god. There go Arduino. We were just talking about that. I did Arduino stuff when I was in engineering school, because that's pretty much like a standard for us. But yeah, the languages that I think the most flexible language It's really a toss up, but Python is one of the most flexible languages you can learn, with the caveat that being that if you want to do anything front end related, you have to learn JavaScript. You just have to. So, but between JavaScript and Python, you can do a lot of stuff that you're interested in with one of those languages. So if you know you want to be more back end or like me, machine learning, something like that, Python is good. If you know you have to do front end stuff, you have to learn JavaScript anyways. And yeah, you could just focus on JavaScript. Um, Cause like I do want to do like a game dev. I want to just do like a game dev project, but nothing crazy. I just want to sit for an afternoon one day and walk through a course. I don't think I'm going to like go and become a game dev. I just find it interesting. I need to do this lang chain though. Python was fun to learn. Then again, I learned it later on, back in 2021. Yeah, I didn't like free code camp merch. Heck no, I need my own merch. But no, I would like to get I would like to get a a course published on the free code camp YouTube. But doesn't that mean I have to get my courses all like edited and published? Yes, it does. So that gives me motivation. But I'm all about free code camp, to be honest, because they've been around pretty much since as long as I've been in development. Like free code camp was really, really early on when I first got started. So I've seen it grow over the years. It's such an amazing project. And shoot, like they always looking for contributors. And that platform is so huge now that it's so many different things you could do if you wanted to contribute. Whenever we introduce a new concept, we should have a short code example. The E in a number input can also be an uppercase E. Regex has a flag for this. However, the I flag, which stands for insensitive. What? Okay, that's a little bit confusing, but okay. The following regex would match hello, 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 and even hello because of the I. This flag makes your pattern case insensitive. Add the I flag to your regex pattern. So you look at that. That's a nice little simple contribution that somebody can make. They do good with first timers only. All right. So yeah, just going off on a tangent, but I do appreciate being able to talk about some of these like some of the like struggles that you kind of have when you're earlier on. Excuse me, because As much as I don't like to acknowledge it, I'm like, it's been a minute since I got into coding. Um, so I don't a lot of sometimes I remember some things that I struggled with, but I don't remember all the little questions that I had, and all the different things that came up. So I really appreciate when folks are asking questions. Like Fizzy posts the questions a lot, and even in our Discord server now, like we're starting to have like the forums and places where the questions that are asked, you can actually easily go back and see responses, previous responses. So also shout out to Preacher for even helping me with that, because your girl I be trying to do too much. But it's really good just to be able to, like, I always want to answer questions, but I don't. Sometimes I'm sitting down and I'm like, what question should I answer? What's the things that people thinking about? Um, so what I'm probably gonna do, because I'm gonna get off stream in a little bit, before I go to bed, I need to do like the overview video for this post. Yeah, I need to do the because this is gonna be 5 videos. I think there's gonna be like a general video where I go through the different the 4 C's, but instead of making it like a super long, like, because if I'll go into all of these in depth, it's gonna be like that's probably gonna be like an hour-long video. So instead, I'm gonna make like an overview video that goes into the 4 C's, and then what I'll do is I'll make a video for each topic. So like curriculum, I want to actually go into how do you vet like a good curriculum, what should you be looking for, um, some good like free and paid curriculums that you could follow online, for example. So that's why I would want to do like a separate video kind of detailing that, because everybody might not need like a deep dive on each one of these components. But then what makes a good project, how to showcase your project, all of these. So that's what I'm thinking. I think when I get off stream today, before I take my butt to bed, I need to film that first video. Wow. Mute. Thank you. Is this the part where Twitch put all the black people on the homepage? What? I think so. They usually do that for Black History Month, right? Oh, look at this. Good timing. Oh my gosh. I want to send y'all over to Coding with Strangers. This mug got a whole 5-minute countdown timer. Cyber Cow. Oh, you know what, Fizzy? I don't remember if you were here the other day when we went to see. We rated Cyber Cow Studios, and they're doing game dev over there, which is kind of cool. Seems like AI covers a lot of areas. I'm already in there. Go ahead. Yeah, but usually people aren't gonna like just sit and watch. Python was fun. Cyber Cow Studios. Did I do that right? Yes. Oh my goodness. But yeah, they're doing some game dev over there, which is pretty interesting. So we'll go and give them some love tonight. I'll be back tomorrow because I'm here every single freaking day. Also, if you are interested, you can always do !Discord, and you can join the Discord server where we are always chatting throughout the week. And then if you are watching on YouTube, even when the stream is over, if you watch on recordings, you can just go to the About page on the YouTube channel, and there's always a link to join Discord on the About page for youtube.com/@metadevgirl. So I always encourage you all to come on over, chat with us. That's where I spend as much of my time as I can throughout the week. And in the meantime, like I said, let's say hi to CyberCow Studios. It's really cool because like they have two people showing their screen at the same time. At least the last time I went over there, and it's a good time. So I will see y'all tomorrow.